Hey guys, I recently saw a video on YouTube that enlightened me on how to tell if you're a good player. This video, made by Michael WMH, gives players a good explanation on what ideal gameplay should resemble, and really got the synapses in my peanut brain firing. I think that this video holds the secret to why I think that guard-based playstyles are just so much worse compared to evasion-based playstyles for players who are looking to push their clear times and damage. Additionally, this can also provide reasoning to why weapons such as the longsword are so popular. First, I think players should understand the general gist of the video, and I think there is no better explanation for what Michael is trying to say than the video itself.
Attack with. So, in the ideal situation for a good monster hunter player, after every attack that the monster does in Enrage, the player is able to follow up with their own attack and hit the monster.
So, what I quickly realized from this video was, not the fact that his brain is working much better than mine, but the bars that he drew is just a generalization of the gameplay. I want to start off by making a small change to his diagram, and show how I think these bars would actually look like in a hunt, but with a specific weapon. First, let's see how a weapon's damage might look like while at optimal gameplay. I think a really good example of this would be the longsword. Throughout the hunt, you would expect a good longsword player to make full use of their arsenal, such as using EI Spirit Slash and Spirit Helm Breakers, as well as any combinations of the two attacks. I drew these spikes here to indicate how their damage output would spike up when they use these skills, while keeping a low, near flat line to indicate whatever the longsword players will be doing when they are not using these high DPS skills. Now, I will take into account how these timings will be affected by monster attacks, which I will indicate by highlighting its attack animation times in red. Different monsters each have a different fight tempo, with monsters that attack more frequently and often having a smaller gap between each red area. Additionally, some monsters have longer attack animations, meaning that it takes longer for each attack to complete. Discounting any monster attacks that repositions them outside of attack range, you can see that longsword relishes at punishing monster attacks, and their damage spikes often occur as a result of the monster attack. For longer attack animations, it is sometimes even possible to land a Spirit Helmbreaker out of the EI Spirit Slash, allowing players to fit in 2 large punishes within a single attack. Now, let's take a look at the same graph before a guard-based playstyle. In this case here, I'm going to be using the Charge Blade. The Charge Blade's most powerful options coming out of a guard would be attacks such as AED and the SAED. And good players are generally able to approximate the windows of opportunity they would have to choose between each punish. However, you'll quickly realize that sometimes I drew dips in the places where punishes could have happened instead. This is due to the effect of these guard point punishes only being effective on small and medium level hits. Large hits, on the other hand, will typically push the player back a small distance, while removing all options for counterplay until the player recovers from the animation. This means that the windows for punish opportunities that could have happened would instead be spent recovering from the animation, and by the time that has happened, it is possible for the monster to have already begun its next attack animation. The only exception to this issue is the lance, where power guarding even the largest attacks can still provide lance players with a punish. On the other hand, weapons such as the greatsword, gun lance, sword and shield mod heavy bowguns are forced to sit through the guard recovering animations before they are able to deal damage, drastically cutting down their DPS uptimes. In these cases here, you are essentially simulating what Michael's video is describing as getting hit. If you end up taking too much chip damage, even more time is going to be spent sheathing the weapon and healing, further reducing your damage uptimes. So you may have heard the term uptime being thrown around quite often in this video, or even other YouTube videos, so you may be wondering what that means. Uptime refers to the time that is spent dealing damage. Generally speaking, higher uptimes mean that you will be doing more damage, resulting in faster clear times. Let's take a look at the uptimes with a weapon that can be played with both an evasion and guard-based playstyle. Since I enjoy using the sword and shield, I think this is the perfect weapon to perform the demonstration. I'll wait for the same attack and attempt to punish the attack, both by waiting for a guard or by avoiding the attack with evasion. To make the comparison better, I will not be using backsteps or perfect rush, and time myself how long it takes to complete the same punish. I shouldn't need to explain that it is much better for damage uptimes to simply avoid the attack altogether rather than waiting for the attack to complete, and then waiting out the block recovery animation. All that being said, I still think that guarding has its merits. Being able to proc offensive guard is a big steroid to your damage output over the long term, assuming you don't take too much chip damage first. With all that in mind, I find it hard to play with guard, spending armor skills and decoration slots on guard up and related guard skills, when it is perfectly viable and much better for damage uptimes to just hit the monster anyways. For newer players learning the fight, or casual players just looking for some relaxing fun, I can wholeheartedly support a guard-based playstyle. But for players looking for a thrill and want to push for better clear times, they should look into changing their weapons builds to a more evasion-focused set instead. If you want to further discuss guard evasion playstyles, feel free to drop your opinion into the comments below. Otherwise, if you want to see me cart with both playstyles, feel free to drop by my Twitch channel to get a front row seat. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.